anything like that. I just want to answer questions. And so to get people started, I sourced from some from my private Facebook group. So I've got some common ones. And then if you just want to chime in with your questions, it can be specific, it can be general, whatever. If I can't answer it or if I can't help you, I'll just say so. I won't like make stuff up or anything. But um, I just want to help people. I just feel like a lot of people are out here kind of doing things that aren't really serving them or serving their purposes or are misdirecting them or they're wasting their time. And if I can do anything to help with that and help alleviate some of that for you, I really, really want to. So, but like, okay, so really common question I get, and this is a question that I get a lot when I do initial calls with people is like, what does a dating coach actually do? So that's going to depend on the dating coach. And some just give you like tips or they go through and help you like break down dates or plan dates. And it's like extremely tactical. I don't do that because I came to it from matchmaking. So I developed my whole program after years of being a matchmaker and realizing that like the help I could give them as a matchmaker wasn't really like the assistance that was really going to get people forward in their lives. So I refocused. So I don't do matchmaking anymore because I don't think one more date is necessarily going to be the solution here. And that a lot of people just sort of need to step back and take the same approach that you would have if you were trying to get better at something at work and you like take a course or a class or read a book or something like that. That same approach. So I help you just like reset your entire approach to love and partnership and help you like stop repeating patterns and showing up authentically. And I know that sounds like woo woo, but it's also very customized. So that is what I do. Now, if you want like practical, tactical advice, I totally do that too. But a lot of times, the people who are working with me, they're not actually dating right now. They're taking like a little break, they're burnt out, or they're going through a transition. Like what I really, really love working with is people who are newly out of relationships, especially people newly divorced. And we're just really like working on, okay, well, who are you now? Right. And anyone who's been in a super, super long relationship knows that like not only is the idea of getting back out there scary, but it's also, um, it takes a lot to unpack all that stuff that you kind of went through in your relationship, the way you changed, the way you kind of built beliefs and habits and started um like I know when I was married, I definitely became somebody whose personality was more like revolving around his because he had a very like oppressive and controlling personality. And so I became someone who sort of like I wasn't like my own entity. I was like I was a satellite, right? I was just like orbiting him. And so it took a long time to unpack that because it's a dynamic and it's a behavior pattern and you sort of like repeat it with people because it feels comfortable. And I actually went through like a whole process of becoming myself again. And when I met my partner now, we're very much two individual people. And I think that it feels so good and so simple because we're both separate people who really respect each other and we don't go in with like expectations of what the other one will or won't do. We just communicate about it. And we give each other a lot of space and respect. And I think that if I could get that for like everybody, that would be amazing. So, yes, you can get a dating coach who just like helps you work through like what did you say on this date? What are you going to say? What are you going to wear? Where are you going to go? Like you can get someone to do that and I can do that. Like I have people who go through programs with me and then they kind of like wait and then they start to like date again and then they do like a check back with me. It's built into the program actually to do that. But you could use it any way you want. But they'll like do a check back with me and they'll be like, okay, I went out on like 2 dates with this person. Can we meet? I want to talk about it. And I'm happy to go through them. I'm happy to like go through um a review of your online dating profile or how you're describing yourself or help you like keep communications going. But that is like to me, that's like up here. And what we want to do is like work like deeper in the foundation because once you have that, you can build securely on top of it. So That's what I do. We talk about your influences, we talk about beliefs that you have, we talk about the way you imagine relationships to be, things that have worked for you, why you think they worked for you. Because sometimes people would tell me stories, especially when I was matchmaking, about relationships that they had that they thought were really good. And as they were telling me, I was thinking, like, this doesn't actually sound that great, but they didn't have a lot to compare to. So, or they didn't know that they could ask for more, or that maybe somebody like wasn't as respectful as they could be to them. So anyway, that's that's it depends on the dating coach. What I do is foundational work, and turn it into tactical things you can employ. But some dating coaches work very much on like the tactical. So it just depends on like what you feel like you need. If you really need a reset, like I say burnout, because when you're burned out, I just feel like it's a really common feeling and nobody really talks to anybody about it. It seems like a really common thing to feel super burnt out about dating, and feel like you just turn into like this negative spiral and doesn't really get you anywhere. And when you talk to other people, they just complain about it too, and you don't really like move forward at all. So what I want to do is help you completely reset, recharge your dating battery, and then give you all those signs and signals about yourself that will let you know before you become burnt out again, because dragging yourself out of burnout is really hard. So if you can like read those signs uh, early enough and know how to take care of yourself and reset yourself, you're going to save yourself a lot of grief. So that's what we work on. Let's see. How will coaching help me if I've already tried everything? So most of my clients, they've read books, they've done therapy, they follow different rules or guidelines that they've heard through the culture or friends or whatever. But a lot of them haven't like sat down and broken down every element that affects how they relate in a relationship dynamic, and why they kind of want what they want, and why they think that makes sense for them. So that's actually what we do, and then rewire the whole approach to finding somebody. So when you're done, you have like this clarity, you have a vision toward who you think is going to be a better match. And when you recover from your burnout, you're a lot likelier to see it. But a lot of people feel terrible. Just ask me questions if you have questions. um, a lot of people feel terrible about dating and they keep going on dates. And if you feel terrible about dating and you keep going on dates and you're treating it like a job and you're kind of dragging yourself out, like nothing good will come of that, you're just wasting everyone's time. Like you need a reset. So just making yourself do it, even if you don't feel like doing it, and getting out there if you don't feel like getting out there, is like nothing good will come of that. Because if you're burned out, the right person could sit right across from you and you feel so crappy you're not going to see them anyway. So it's just a waste of time. And you know what's meant for you won't pass you by, so you don't have to worry about like, oh, if I don't go, what if my soulmate is there? They won't be. Don't worry. You don't have to have FOMO about this. Like, it should feel fun. It should feel like, um, it should feel kind of like self care. And if it doesn't, you take a break. Take a break. You know, only do it when it feels good, right? So yeah. Oh, what if I'm too burned out to even date right now? So that's like exactly what I work on. So again, like dating burnout isn't solved by just like pushing through getting back on apps or going out or whatever when you don't feel good. It's solved by trying to figure out why it feels so bad right now and trying to heal that again foundationally. So we get like deep into it. Um, so when I coach people, it's about helping you get to a place where dating feels kind of like it feels positive, like you feel like you're looking forward to it, but you're totally also okay. Like it doesn't happen. Like it's not the sole focus, right? You don't want to be somebody whose life is on hold because you're waiting for somebody else to show up and start it. This is your only life, right? Like a lot of people say like, "Oh gosh, everything's so terrible right now. How could I even focus on dating?" And I would just counter that you only have this one life. You're allowed to seek happiness in dark times. You're allowed to seek solace and companionship when things are difficult. And those are things that actually make it more manageable and give you more meaning within this realm of control that you have. So just because it feels like you're, we're all in hell in a handbasket or whatever, we're just like barreling down a mine chute or whatever, just towards some fiery end. You know what's nice? Being in the mine chute with somebody else. Like you I want people to feel totally good and solid on their own and to say, like, I want this, I don't need this, but I want this enough to work on getting it the way I want it. The same way you work on anything else, the same way you work on getting a degree, a certification, getting good at any hobby or activity. Like, study, you work on your foundational elements, right? You figure out what you know and you accept what you don't know, and then you try to remedy that so you can get better at it. It's all the same thing. So that is you're allowed. You're allowed to seek happiness in dark times. It's okay. You don't have to put your life on hold because again, this is your only life. So don't put it on hold waiting for somebody else. Don't put it on hold waiting for things in the world to get better. If you feel like this is a thing you've wanted for your life and you really want to share your life with somebody, you're entitled to want that and you're entitled to work towards it. Um, and remember that misery loves company. So if you tell people that you want this and they tell you, like, oh, why? Everything is so awful. It's such a hellscape. Everyone sucks, blah, blah, blah. People are so shallow, and all the other things you've ever heard. They just want you to give up too because they did. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Like, their attitude and their outlook towards it is their business and yours is yours. So, okay, I got, let's see. Anyone has questions, just ask me questions. Dating, self-love, dating, burnout, recovery, coaching, relationships, communication, anything like that. If I can't answer it, I will let you know. Let's see. Will you just tell me what I'm doing wrong? No, no, I will not just tell you what you're doing wrong. I am absolutely not here to shame you. If anything, one of the first things we do is just like a lot of forgiveness, right? And just acceptance of things that have happened and letting go of things and taking a lesson and moving on, right? We don't have to live in the past. We don't have to compare to the past. We don't have to work on only incrementally improving from the past. We should be working on measuring things in our lives against the goal that we have, right? Um, so we'll look at honestly like what's working, right? Or what has worked and what might just be a survival strategy or an influence or belief that you've carried around that maybe isn't really serving your goal. But I work really hard to make sure that I'm always working with a lot of compassion and support, right? I'm here to support you, check in with you, make sure you're feeling like you're working towards your goal in a really tactical way. And it's not always painless, right? Sometimes when we go through these things, we're going to dig stuff up and it doesn't always feel great, but it's to allow you to take the lesson and then move on. You don't have to carry this stuff around with you. You can just take your lesson and let go of the rest because the past is the past and it's over now. You don't need to carry it around. So, let's see. Do I have to be actively dating to benefit from coaching? Absolutely not. No, most people I work with are taking a break from dating or they're about to start dating and they're kind of scared too, or maybe they went out on like one date, like after a divorce or something like that, and they are suddenly just like overwhelmed and going, I don't really know what I got myself into. So, um, most clients who work with me are taking a break from dating. Some aren't, but they're definitely like slowed down and they're decentralizing the activity of dating. And they're moving towards focusing more on um, creating a better path and a better outlook to dating. So sometimes like not dating is definitely like really, really part of the reset that the person needs because it's not about making sure you just go on more dates. It's about making sure that when you do go on a date, you're looking for that alignment that's going to be compatible for you. So it's about learning how to show up like authentically. But sometimes people are like like, it's really normal for me to start working with somebody and they're like, "I probably need to take a break. I do have a date, like, signed up like, lined up for next week or whatever that I'd already set up before this, and, like, you should, go, right? Don't just, like, not go. If you still feel like going, you should go." And then we can talk about it. So sometimes it's really helpful to still have a couple days during that time, but sometimes a lot of times it's better to just be like doing like really internal, like inward work. So is this just about finding someone faster? I mean, no, because you have to be putting in a lot of your own efforts to get there. So it's hard to say what like faster means. Um, but it's about helping you find someone who is better for you. So rushing is pretty much I don't recommend it. But I show you how to date in a way that's like honest and sustainable and adds to your life and then actually will lead you to the partner who is more suitable for you and the relationship dynamic who's going to be better for you. And you'll have a better feeling about who that is because we'll have done all this foundational work. So you'll be like, you'll have very, very clear glasses on that are adjusted for what you need for the vision that you have. Can you help me rebuild my confidence after rejection or heartbreak? Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, I can. Um, Many of my clients are really discouraged. They're very afraid of repeating the past. And I'll tell you, like, my personal journey on that is like I have been through so serious heartbreak, serious pain. If you started following me for my blindside breakup video, like part of the reason that made me so upset was because it had happened to me too. And my friend knew that and didn't seem to relate what he was doing to the thing that had happened to me. And that the work that I've had to do on myself to support people through that is pretty immense because I don't know. I think it's just like how people are raised and the room and permission and support that they have when they're growing up and in their community. But the way I was raised is like there is like always a lot of pain. There's always a lot of trauma and strife and heartbreak, and that it is never an option to give up because of that. Um, so I will tell you that when I started, especially when I started matchmaking, I had not a ton of empathy for people deciding to give up on dating because they had been through so much pain. And because I was just like, life is pain, like, get over it, move on. Like, why would you just give up? Like, oh, you can't handle the pain again. Even though I knew like I had been through terrible pain, right? But I was also like, but I got up and I kept going and, you know, really having to do work on myself to understand that like some people just their ability to tolerate especially emotional and psychological pain is really, really different than mine. And that the role that pain has played in my life is not the role that plays in everyone else's. And so one of the things that I've really learned that I have a whole section in my e-course on is that if you everyone has pain in their life, right? And it just plays a different role. Like and you're usually either protecting it, um, trying to avoid it, or trying to recreate it. And the those are ideally what you would do is you would take the lesson and you would move on. You would take the lesson from the experience and the pain, and you would move on, but you can't spend your life trying to avoid or protect or repeat pain. um, it's just not going to move you forward at all because the pain is totally in control there. So um, healing is definitely built into my coaching process. Working on like ways to rebuild your trust. In fact, I have like a whole video. I think I already put it on YouTube about how to rebuild trust in other people and yourself after you go through like a trauma, especially like heartbreak, especially like a blindside breakup. Because, it's funny, I've been thinking a lot about trust lately. And like, um, I had an interaction with somebody where like we were all under a lot of stress and they were really, really like gumming up the works. And I said, well, like, let me help you. And I went to help them and they snapped at me and like pushed me away. And I thought, at first, I was like, oh, they just, like, when they're under a lot of stress, they don't have a lot of control. And then I thought, if I can't trust this person to keep themselves under control when they're under a lot of stress, I can't trust them. Like trust is words and actions aligned over time, right? So it takes a long time to build it. It takes a long time to establish it and to believe it. If you're trusting too soon, that's not great. You should. And a lot of times, like really cynical people will say, like, "Oh, trust but verify." I guess I think of it because some people will like be in a relationship with someone for 5 years, still saying trust but verify, and it's like, if you can't trust them by now, you should have left, right? If you haven't learned enough that they're trustworthy by now, or you're not sure if you do, you probably shouldn't be there. But trust is, it's words and actions aligned over time, which means you have to spend time with people in order to trust them. It's why, like, Love is Blind is so stupid because words are so cheap. Anyone can say anything to anybody and it doesn't mean anything, right? And half the time they're giving each other the answer before they even ask it. They're saying, like, this is really important to me. Is this important to you? That's not how you ask the question. And I think I have a training about that too, about how to ask questions that like give away the answers so you get like authentic answers. I think it might be on my YouTube. Um, I might have posted already, but I'm pretty sure my trust one is up there. So if you want to watch that, that is pretty thorough. It's like a 30-minute session about trust from a live, probably from a TikTok live. I think I recorded it TikTok live and in my Facebook group at the same time. So my eyes kind of like go back and forth from the screens. But anyway, if you have dating questions, just ask me. I'm going through some FAQ that I get a lot right now. Um, what if I have family or cultural pressures? Oh my gosh. I've worked with a lot of, especially Asian American daters. Um, I really, I really understand that. Um, I have a belief that basically you can honor your family's traditions, but you're also allowed to have your own values and your own beliefs and your own goals. And, and I can say this as somebody who my parents were refugees, is that like, it it's not like they chose to come to America, right? If your choice was that or like you're not alive anymore, then you're gonna go. But the fact of the matter is they did raise me American. They did raise me in America. So I get to adopt the cultures and beliefs and values of the place I live. Um, and I can still honor my family's values, but if they conflict with my own, I am allowed to have my own. We live in America and I can have my own values. And as long as that lasts for now, for now. Um, but there's a saying that like if tradition is the only reason to do something you don't want to do, that's like absolutely not a good enough reason. So I can help you navigate that. I can help you navigate how you honor your own values, your own beliefs, but also like show respect to the people around you, to the people who love you, who have their own beliefs, and I can definitely help you navigate that because I have a lot of clients who've done it, and I've dealt with it too. So um, let's see. I'm worried I'll just hear the same old advice. Is this really different? Yeah, I mean, it is because I don't just tell you to think positively or to keep swiping or to keep going or just be yourself. Like, um, I help you uncover why you date the way you do. and then change it at the foundation. So it is a permanent toolkit for real results. You get to take it with you. It's not, this is why like people say like, why don't you do like monthly group sessions or something like that? No, because you want your transformation now. You don't want to wait, right? You don't want to be like, oh, I am in this once a month thing to help me date, like help me find like the right partner. Like that takes way too long. Why would it take that long? If we work together, most people set up a session once a week. We do it once a week. A lot of times they'll do a midweek check-in to see how you're doing, if you've got any updates, so you don't waste your session just giving me updates about the last week. And then we usually go through and I can get you out of the program. And if you come every week, that would be, some people do the 8 sessions and some people do the 10. So it just depends. But the first bulk of it would be 6 weeks. If you come every week, you can come more than once a week if you feel like you're really motivated and you have the time to focus. You can do more than once a week. It'll be really fast. You'll have a fast transformation. The important thing is that you like kind of do the in between work and get consistent with it and feel like you understand your accountability, and that you're really like working on thinking about how you're moving through your dating journey, and how you're setting your goals and how you're communicating, how you're expressing, like, but you can do it, and it'll be fast. So like if you started now, you might feel like a totally new person by summer, and feel like when you're out there in the world, getting out there, and the weather's better and everybody's kind of out, um, you could feel like a whole lot better. And because it's a permanent toolkit, like you can always like check back in with me, but you build up a toolkit that you have forever. So you're preemptively preventing future burnout, and you're like kind of like you're driving down the highway and you start to feel yourself like drift out of the lane. You like know when you need to grab the wheel and how to self correct. So it's transformational. So that's why I don't do like monthly group sessions. I have a Facebook group every week. I go live in there, but I don't um, do like paid monthly coaching because I just think like that's not fast enough, and everybody's journey is different. So I would rather work with you one on one and really customize it to you and get to know you and what you care about. Um, so yeah. Do you help with online dating profiles and conversations too? Yeah, but only once we've really laid a solid foundation, because you have to know kind of what you're directing the conversation toward. But I can help you with apps and profiles, first messages, but only after like you've really reset your approach. So you feel like whatever caused like that burnout before is not going to happen again, or that you're going to get in front of it a lot faster. I also have, if you are if you book a free consult call, after we talk, I'll send you. I have made a super long list of things you can ask in like the talking stage, so you can get to know people better without it being like super weird. Hey, Ruby. Um, so that's something that you can get. Let's see. What if I'm scared that I'll never find someone? Most people feel this way when we first meet, especially. So, a lot of what I do is try to help you reconnect with hope. So, not not false hope, but like grounded, empowered hope, where you feel like you have a really clear understanding of how you're going to find. Ah, you're welcome, Ruby. I was gonna message you the other day, and then I was tired. um, so coaching helps you like understand yourself better, so you're not feeling like hopeless, right? A lot of times in dating, people put all their focus on what's external and what's out of their control, and then it takes off like that responsibility, because when it's not going well, you can sort of like blame all these other factors that you don't have under any control over. But that's silly, because why wouldn't you want to feel like you have control over your life? I guess I don't understand why you would want to feel out of control. It might feel easier in the moment to blame other factors, but it's better to feel like you have control. It's why I call the e-course is called It's About You, because I think that it's silly when people say like, "Oh, it's not you, it's me," because it doesn't like help you at all. It doesn't help you learn anything. So it is about you, and it's your life. So of course it's about you. Um, yeah, that's kind of what I have for the AMA. Thanks for joining, everyone. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Send me any other questions you have. I can do this again. I love doing it. Bye.